Hello and welcome. I am Kelly Hearn, and today we are talking all about knowing the change. And again, I am Kelly Hearn. Welcome. You are on the channel for Transitional Leadership, where we help individuals and businesses implement leadership and career skill development to foster a greater impact. And there is nothing more foundational to creating a better impact than influencing change. And if you've heard me talk about this at all, you have heard me say that you need to know the change. And I wanted to really dive deep into this piece of it today because so often when I talk to people about knowing the change, they kind of give me a blank stare like that's the most basic expectation that there is. And it sounds like it, except that I would be willing to bet. Actually, I've seen it in real life. 90% of the time, people don't know the change. They are not going deep enough to know the change. So I have a couple of examples here because I want you to see it at a super simplistic level so that you're able to apply it then to a more complex situation. So let's take the most simplistic example, right? So you need to know the change that you're trying to create at home, which if you're like me or if you have young kids, the change you might be wanting them to make is to get their shoes on at the time that you want to walk out the door. You might give them a couple of reminders. And at the end, you're pulling your hair out because they haven't actually made the change that you wanted. And you knew the change, right? You thought you did. And that was what you were trying to influence first in a really positive and leader type of way. And then later, like the crazy manager that you never wanted to be because it didn't happen. Right. And I know that that's how it can feel at work. So, again, that's why we're taking this super simplistic example right off the bat. So, you knew the change, right? You wanted them to put on their shoes. But is that really the change you wanted? Or is that how you accomplish it? Stick with me. When you want something to change, there's three pieces that you need, right? You need to understand why the change has to happen, what that change actually is, and how you will get there. Okay. So when we're taking this example of our kids getting out the door and putting on their shoes is actually how we accomplish the thing. It's not the actual change. It's the steps, it's the process to get there. It's sitting down, it's pulling your shoe on, it's tying the laces. That's the how. What we're trying to accomplish is getting out the door on time, right? Because you don't just want them to put on their shoes and walk around the house. You want it at the exact time that you're trying to get out the door, maybe a moment earlier so that you're not, losing your mind at the very end. But that's the how, that's the steps. The what is getting out the door on time. And the why is wherever you're going. And so if we're talking about a toddler here, maybe they don't even need to tie their shoes. They just have to slip them on, maybe strap a Velcro strap, right? You're talking to them about a change, but you're jumping right to the how. You're skipping past why, you're skipping past what, and you're jumping right to how. So you're spending all this time talking about putting your shoes on, but you're not setting the stage with, we need to get out the door on time because we want to get to grandma's and house in time to pick her up and make it to the rodeo. If you were trying to get your kid to do the thing you actually wanted, get out of the house on time and complete it by putting on their shoes, the how, like we talked about, you have to spend a little bit of time on the why, right? Because getting a toddler to run out the door to get to grandma's house and go to the rodeo is way more enticing than mom pulling her hair out because she just needs them to put on their freaking shoes, correct? Can you tell this happens in my house? I'm sure it happens to a lot of you too. But again, it's no different when you're in the work world. So in the blog this week, I tell this story about these two business leaders, Erica and Brittany. Brittany's been in the business for a long time. She actually started the business, the little local coffee shop, and she brought in her sister, Erica, because she knew that she needed some help working with all of the different employees at a couple different locations. And Brittany had a ton of business acumen. but she didn't have the people leadership skills that she needed to be able to inspire the changes that she wanted to see. It started out fine because she had all of these people rallied behind her. They loved this local vision, this mission that she was after, and this young woman like pulling herself up by her bootstraps type of thing, all behind it. But eventually, without the leadership from Brittany, they needed something more to continue to be motivated to do all of the things that she needed to do. So Brittany brought in her sister Erica. Erica was helping out and recommending all of these changes that probably would have been really helpful to the employees, right? And when she talked to her sister, when she talked to Brittany, she did just what we do when we talk about the shoes. She jumped right to the how. So, for example, the employees were starting to get disgruntled, and Erica, was recommending to Brittany that she loosen the reins and give them more autonomy. That's the change that they needed to see. Those employees needed to have more autonomy in their work, and then everything would be fine. Brittany didn't really listen to her, and for good reason, because Erica jumped right to the how. She wasn't demonstrating the full picture. She didn't truly, inside and out, know the change that she wanted to make so that she could articulate it in a way that Brittany could respect and understand. And if, as we all know, if you want to gain respect, you need to be in a position where you command respect, not arrogantly, but you have to actually be worthy of it. So, if we're talking about giving the employees more autonomy, and that's the how, if we keep diving in and go layer by layer, why, we find out that they're feeling micromanaged. Well, why? Because Brittany's digging into all of the numbers and trying to get a really firm hold on the profits and the ratios and all of the different KPIs in her business. And that's important. She needs to do that. But what it makes these employees feel like is undermined or, um, kind of taken advantage of almost in a way because they're putting in all these extra hours. And Brittany just doesn't see it. So by giving them more autonomy, you might, you know, correct that why, but you have to link it all together. Erica has to draw that line straight through for Brittany to see you want happy employees who are able to support your customers and answer every question and handle every situation. But you're micromanaging them to the point that they can't even make these decisions on their own. And even where you'd like them to make the decisions, they feel like they can't because you're analyzing the numbers to such an extent. And so if we go to the level of putting parameters and documentation around the level of autonomy that each one of them has, then you can see how they're able to provide that better service and that better picture overall. Now, if Erica had gone to Brittany with that, it's a lot easier pill to swallow than giving more autonomy to workers that Brittany is just seeing as disgruntled at this point. So when I talk to you about knowing the change, when you hear me say it in my messaging on any of these videos or on Instagram or even in my blog and the content, what I mean is know it forward and backward all the way through. Know why you want something to change, even before you know what the solution is. Know what the problem is. Why do you need the thing to change? So for Brittany, we needed that customer service. If you are running a coffee shop, you need all of your baristas and all of your wait staff to be happy and engaged and supportive of the customers, able to solve all their problems, right? And so that what then becomes, how do we build that for them? How do we support them in a way that they're able to do that? And then the how are simply the steps. So for them, it was structured autonomy for those employees. And for your toddler, it's tying their shoe or slipping it on and hopping in the car. I hope that that was helpful for you today. I hope that you are able to kind of take this message forward and drive the changes that you want to see in your organization, in your team, or even in your home. That is my hope for all of you. And that if you are seeing that, you would share this far and wide so that other people can get the benefit of that as well. I will see you next week. Oh, and if you want to read more about this and see all of the different things, all the different tools that I gave to Erica so that she would be able to work even better with Brittany, jump on over to the blog. There are 3 critical steps in there, and this is just one of them. Knowing the change is just one of those 3 critical steps. So hop on over there to learn more. All right. Have a wonderful day. I will see you later.